Give the gift of financial independence to someone who is blind.
Penny Forward, a nonprofit organization founded and led by blind people, needs your donation to provide accessible financial education programs to strengthen our community.
Our podcast, online courses, group workshops, and one-to-one financial counseling are helping people like Desiree Christian succeed in their personal, professional, and financial lives.
Chris at Penny Forward really helped me take my own self-imposed roadblocks out from under me, away from me, and went, oh, gee, I can do a thing even if life is hard. So I did a thing, and Flaunt Your Ability now exists. FlauntYourAbility.com.
Visit pennyforward.com to empower blind people as we build bright futures one penny at a time.
Hi everyone, my name is Pete, and here is this week's JAWS tip. This time, I want to talk about something simple, but something that you may find yourself needing to do very often, namely, checking the time without looking at your watch or your phone. Using JAWS, there are a few ways to do this. One way is with the voice assistant that I talked about last week. As a reminder, you press JAWS key plus Alt plus space, or you can say the command, "Hey Sharky," just speak it. You'll hear a little chime, and then you can say, "What time is it?" You'll get another chime, and JAWS will tell you what time it is. Another way to do the same thing is to press JAWS key plus F12. And once again, JAWS will tell you what time it is. But now let's say that you're giving a presentation, or you're someplace where you don't necessarily want to have your computer speak at the wrong time. Did you know that you can tell the time through your Braille display if you have one? On most Braille displays, JAWS has reserved a group of Braille cells, either on the left or the right-hand side of it, depending on how you set it. These are called status cells. Their major function is to give you information about things like line numbers of where you are in a particular document or on a web page, maybe the kinds of elements that you happen to be on at the moment, like a list box, an edit box, and so on. And they can also tell you how much of the line that you're on is actually showing up on the Braille display, and also whether or not the display is near the beginning or end of the line, or the entire line is in the display. What you may not know is that recently another function has been added where JAWS can get the current time from your computer's clock and then display it for you on these very same status cells with the simple touch of a routing key above any one of those 4 or 5 cells. This feature is not enabled by default, so to turn this on, what you would do is press JAWS key plus Shift plus F12. JAWS will say, show time on. If you want to go back to having the status cells show you what they normally do, all you do is press JAWS key plus Shift plus F12 a second time. JAWS will say, show time off. And once you set it either to on or off, that setting remains in effect from JAWS session to JAWS section until you turn it off manually. Now, if you'd rather like to have the status cells showing the time always on by default, you can do this by going to the Settings Center, then to Braille, and then to Status Cells. One of the items here says, Show Time in Status Cells. It's a checkbox. If you check the box, then you will have the status cells showing the current time all the time. If you need to turn it off, you can do it by pressing JAWS key plus Shift plus F12. While you're in the Settings Center, there also are 2 other options that you can set regarding this time display. One is to show the time in 12-hour or 24-hour format. So, for example, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You could have it display either as 0300 or you can have it display as 1500 in 24-hour time. The other option is that you can have the time read as hours/minutes or as minutes/seconds. You can use the minutes/seconds one if you're wanting to do something like a stopwatch thing where you want to see how long it takes for you to speak something if you're getting ready for a presentation. Now, if you'd like more information about other things that these status cells can do for you, there's a really, really good write-up in JAWS Help. You go to the JAWS main menu, arrow down to Help, then to JAWS Help Topics. In the book that's titled JAWS Unrefreshable Braille, you will find a topic specifically called Status Cells. Okay, that's it for this week. As always, I do hope that you've found these tips useful. And if you'd like to hear something about another specific area of JAWS and future tips, do send us an email to feedback@unmute.show.